Hello, hello. I'm sorry that it's 11 o'clock on a Thursday. It is Thursday at least. Yes, Thursday. And not 2 o'clock. You know what it's like trying to rearrange a child's dentist appointment. It's just not worth it. So here we are, accommodating services that we value and rely on, and changing our entire working day around. So anyway, you'll hopefully just be able to watch this at the usual time and it'll be all right. But, you know, I did want to get this streaming this week and not just skip the week because of dentistry, because we've got lots of things to talk about and it's all going really well and it's exciting. So let us crack on. Let's have a look to see what is on the cards today. If I remember how this works, then that's the right button to press. Yes, we're winning already. Right, live stream. We are going to cover the usual stuff and we're doing it in order today. Although we are going to be focusing quite heavily today on marketing materials, because the exciting news is we've got a new template for you. I'm going to call it I'm not calling it in the interface because it would be silly, but I'm going to call it the squish everything onto one page as much as possible template. So if that's the sort of thing that you enjoy doing, keep listening. So we're going to be focusing a lot on that. We're also going to be looking at some super fast, exciting, amazing changes that the team have made here on the to-dos area. And I think we'll just, by definition, by default, be doing it all at speed. So let's go. Right, first up, the change this week. We received feedback last week. It is live in your account right now on the work to-dos page. So let's have a look. And I'm also going to show you a bit of progress on the prototype that we looked at last week. This is all the theme of this is listening to what you're telling us and then, you know, seeing the results of it. So it's all very nice and fluid, isn't it? So that's not the correct page to look at. The correct page I want to look at is a work of my choice. And we're going to look at the to-dos on this work of my choices page. So I go to project management, I look at to-dos, I cross my fingers that there are some to-dos on this one. Great, there are. So iteration, not brand new, but here are some polishings on this page. First polishing. If the to-do does not have a date on it, it appears at the top, not the bottom. Second polishing, if the to-do is done, tick, then there's a small visual affordance there of the name of the to-do being crossed out. So you can kind of see, you know, if we tick off a few of these, you can see, oh yeah, crossed out, crossed out. So you've got both the checkbox checked and also the crossed out name of the to-do. Lovely. You'll notice that you can see everything on one page. So this is polishing the third. You don't have to scroll over to the right to see all of this information. We've got the to-do name and the role fulfillers. The to-do fulfillers on this on the same bit. And we've got polishing the fourth, which is the tags that say whether it's a milestone or overdue or blocking. I thought I'd got rid of that. They're all lined up. And the filter is not a polishing, that works exactly as it works, but that's really helpful to be able to say, well, show me all of the things that have got editor involved, show me all of the things that have got production involved, show me all of the to-dos where any of the data contains the string commissioning or commish. And then polishing the fifth, I've forgotten how many polishings we've done now. Polishing the N, we have got the indication here of what month it's in. June 22, July 22, August 22. That used to be appear once at each of a block, but because this is in a table, that's a little bit on the challenging side to do in under 3 working days, along with all the other things. So we might amend that at some point in the future, but hopefully it's enough right now for you to be able to see at a glance kind of, oh yeah, I see we're in June 22 there. So that is all lickety-split. Very amazing work from the team there. Very amazing work from treasured clients there, letting us know, what you need. So that is in your account right now. Do enjoy it. Now, if it was me, I would now be thinking, yes, that's all very good. But what about if I want to see all of the to-dos that I'm on the hook for more than one work? Because here we are, only looking at cats of the world. And this is our cat, Atherton Raspberry, looking for all the world, like he's up to something very nefarious. So if that was the sort of thing you wanted to do, I would click on the Explore button, and that will take you to Data Studio. Now, I have been sending notifications through the system saying, we're turning Data Studio on, Done it for many clients, haven't done it for all clients. Not least because I want to just give everybody absolutely enough chance to say, wait, what? What's this new thing? So if you think there's anyone on your team who has not yet caught up with the notifications from the past month, or who's never heard of the phrase Data Studio, then this is kind of, I know the people we're talking to now are, you're always on it and tuning in for the live stream. But if there's anyone that you think might not have done that, then do let us know, or them know, as soon as possible, because Data Studio will be on for everyone. All that means, to be honest, is that you get the nice extra option on the top here, so that you can go straight to Data Studio. It means that you get the icon at the top of the Data Studio pages, and it means that you get the dashboard. So it's not like any functionality is being taken away or radically changed. But still, it's still nice when you log onto your system in the morning to know what you're expecting to see. So just let us know if you've got any concerns at all. So I've clicked through from the work to do page to Data Studio, and I've clicked through, and that button will always just scope the search to the place that we've come from. If I get rid of that scope and I click search, then I'm going to be able to see all of the to-dos for all of the works that satisfy my search conditions here. And since I have no search conditions, this is all of the to-dos in the system. And so now I can start layering on more filters. So as per usual, what do you want to filter it by? Is it by the ones that you're responsible for? Then do that. Is it ones within a particular publication date range? Then do that. So it's eminently flexible. The nice thing on this page as well is that we've got sorting, and these to-dos are editable. So it really is your one-stop shop for being able to not just drill down and be looking at the one particular work, but to be able to manage your entire set of obligations all in one place and to move through it. Okay, so I've looked at my cat heist ones, or the ones that are in this pub date. What about, the next thing on my list? So definitely worth having a play with this. And the very tone of today's live stream is all about fast change. So, if there's anything on this layout with the sorting and these options here, if there's anything here that you think, wouldn't it be great if we could blah de blah, don't hesitate to write in like you're so good at. support@consonants.app. Just keep the feedback coming. It's fantastic. Great. So enjoy looking at all the things that are overdue on your list. Alas, Consonants cannot magic them away. There's real work to be done in a full cover layout or a centre typesetter, but at least you'll know what needs to be done and what you haven't done. You're welcome. Great. So what I wanted to show you next was iterations based on your other pieces of feedback from the prototype that we looked at last week. So we've received from three or four different clients some really great thoughts. This is the perfect time. We're very open to new ideas at the moment because we're in the prototype stages. So let's have a look to see what I'm talking about. I am talking about pipelines. Now, pipelines at the moment, they've been a feature for a long time. They're a KanBan project management approach implementation. But what we're doing now is styling them and providing more functionality on top of the existing functionality. And so we're on my local machine. This is not what yours looks like. Yours looks like it's looked for a long time. But here we are doing some development, changing the way that the page is styled. Now, based on feedback just in the last week, I've had some fantastic ideas in, such as if all of the to-dos on a card, let's say, well, work really, are done, can we have some visual indication there? So here's a lovely green tick, love green ticks, and a green outline of the card, just to, to layer on in colour, which is not appropriate for everyone, but it enhances this further information here that says 1 out of 1 to-dos has been, there's one to-do that's been done, and overall there is 1 to-do. I'll show you this one. So here on Cat and Mouse, if we click into it, sorry about the padding, I haven't quite done that yet. So there's 1 to do, and now I've done it. Great. And because I haven't finished the programming yet, I'm going to have to refresh the page, but that will happen automatically. And now that 1 has been done, and we're all green, and that's great. What else have we got? We've got an overdue indicator. So we've got 12 to-dos out of the 54 that need doing at some point, and 9 of those are overdue. Oh dear. And so if we wanted to click through, so clicking on this is going to show us the project management overview. So this is nice, isn't it? We've got quick insights into here's the project management info, click through to briefings and discussions. It appears in a plan, it has a track copy, here are the roles on it, here's the discussions, fantastic. And then here are our to-dos, like in line. So just as we talk to you about having one version of the truth in your data, here we have a kind of a meta one version of the truth, don't we? Because this is the exact same layout as we were looking at on the works page earlier, the search page earlier, and now we're seeing the to-dos there. So it's really nice to be able to kind of write some code and then use it in multiple different ways. One version of the truth. In terms of the people who are allocated here, I think this was based on feedback from one of our great clients, maybe slightly tangential, but I ran with it. So on this one, we've got various users and contacts being allocated. One of them has got their own image uploaded. And so if there's an image, then that image will appear on this card. And if there isn't, then the initials of the person will appear. And if it's a organisation, then the first 3 characters or the acronym of the organisation will appear. So a kind of it sounds silly to sort of spell it all out like that. But the idea is that it just sort of does what you obviously think it would do in the moment. But then there's no such thing as obvious, is there? There's always programming. So now if we click on that, we've got our roles. There's Robert Smith being the digital manager, fighting the good fight. Same sort of stuff there. And then there's the to-dos down there. So that's looking good. And then more options, as we were talking about last week, for related information for the work on this card, but without having to load it all onto the page so that the page gets slower and slower the more data you've got. So now if we click on metadata, my word, look, we're looking at the kind of the overview page, but we're on a pipeline and we can just close it and we're straight back on this page. So, slightly sort of new paradigm here. And then about this card, this was another great idea from a treasured client, a kind of an audit trail on where the card has been on its travels over the last few days or weeks or whenever. So this is like the audit trail of how many times this card has been moved between columns on this page. So that's good fun. And then being able to edit this to say, well, I want this to be named, and there should be a contact attached, and there's a note and that sort of thing. So yeah, so lots of functionality on one page. I mean, if you've ever used any, you know, KanBan project management style other project management systems, this will be familiar to you. You know, this idea that there are stages, these are all kind of user defined, and you can, you know, move the stages around, and you can move the cards within those stages around, and you move your obligations from one side of the board to the next. But if you know this, you know this, and if you don't, hopefully it's fairly clear how you can use this sort of thing. So yes, so all I want to say is, if this sparks any ideas, we are so in the mood for your great, interesting ideas. So absolutely keep them coming. Let us know what you think, what you like, what you don't like, what your great ideas are, and we'll carry on. There's a lot of testing to be done on this, so it's not going to be, certainly not going to be within sight of Easter. It's a complicated page, and I want to make sure that it's absolutely going to do what we need it to do, because that's how we roll. Great. Now then, back to our agenda, because next up we want to talk about the next new exciting thing, which is this new marketing template and some new marketing data elements. Marketing data elements, yes, correct form of words. And I thought what we'd do is actually just absolutely start from scratch and create one from scratch. The reason for this, I mean, it sounds so silly. I've been learning horse riding, and the horse riding videos where they take a completely polished horse and do something, it's like, that's not very useful because you know what you're doing. Whereas the ones where they take a completely green horse and they try and do something for the first time, that's when it's really interesting. So let's start from scratch. I'm not going to take you to any pages that are all like pre-filled or anything. And then this will be exactly how you will step through setting up this new template from scratch. So let's go. But I'll try and keep it pithy as well, because you haven't got all day. So we're going to go to Data Studio, I think, and this will perhaps make you hungry for having it switched on in your account, if nothing else. And I can see that I've got some marketing templates here already. I can see I've got some custom report templates as well, but I'm going to create a new one. So I'm going to go to View All. Another way I could get here is to go to the menu and click on Marketing Materials. All roads lead to the same place, one version of the truth, etc., etc. So here we are. I'm going to add a new template, so completely from scratch, nothing up my sleeves. And we'll do live demo of new template, because I can't talk and type at the same time. So it's going to have to be a simple name. This is the new one, customize your own multi-work. Okay, so it's going to be a PDF that's got multi-works on it. Single column, interesting. Fixed, also interesting. Layout. Let us see what that means. Phone me for books. Phone me, hang on, money to buy books. Much better. Not a charity, good Lord. This is publishing. So then I click on my live demo of new template, and this is going to show me a fairly plain page, because all we've done is say this is the template we want to use, but we've not put any data elements on yet. And I am going to choose a batch to preview, and it's going to be the Cats with Covers batch. And that's a good one because they'll have covers, and then we don't have to use our minds, use our imaginations to see where the covers would be. Quick slurp. So we have got our design name set up. We've got our Cats with Covers batch loading. Here's a cover. And this will give us a sense of what this layout is going to do very roughly. So let me go big there, small over here. So we're going to have this area at the top on the PDF page. There's going to be content in the middle. There's our Phone Me to Buy books, and there's the imprint logo of the work that's on this page. And then you can see this is one PDF. This is the second page of the same PDF file, and you can see 2 of 11. So this is an 11-page PDF. So we are producing one PDF document. It's not 11 separate PDF documents, one per work. So that's the thing we're trying to do today. We're producing one document. So we've got the cover at the top, stuff in the middle, footer. Cover at the top, stuff in the middle, footer. Great. If you're beady, you might also notice that when the cover aspect ratio is more or less landscape, we are fitting that cover into the same space that a portrait one would go with. Because what this template is trying to do again is get as much possible onto one page. We are sacrificing, the beautiful size of the cover for knowing that it will fit in this prescribed piece of tight space at the top of the page. So that's where we're going. That's our kind of vibe there. Lovely. And then what we're doing, if I can Command 0 to get back to something that's a bit smaller. Then what we're going to be doing is adding in some data elements. So one change, if you're using this feature a lot, then normally what you'll be familiar with is that this section says left-hand column and this section says right-hand column. But for this template, it loads to say top of page and bottom of page. So that's that's orienting you as to what's going on here. We've got, how do I make this big? We've got space at the top here, and that's the top of the page. We've got space within here, and that's the bottom of the page. Let's just start adding elements, shall we? I think this is always the best way to sort of try and figure out what's going on. And I'm going to orient it towards some of the new data elements that we've put in this week. So we're seeing a new template. We're also seeing some new data elements. So we'll put the product title and the subtitle in. Those aren't new. We'll put the pub date in. No, we won't. We'll put this one in. ISBN 13 for the hardback product with dashes plus price. So when we are looking at the data on this side of the page here, we're always thinking about it in terms of the product, because this is a product level feature. But on a PDF AI, if you're creating something to sell out into the trade, oftentimes you want to feature all of the products on the work, because from the bookshop or the data aggregator's point of view, they're thinking at work level. And so we've got the best of both worlds here. We have added in some more options to be able to print some of the sibling product information all on the same page. And what this does, this is still at kind of product level, but we go up to the work and then down to all of the products and pick out which bits we want. So I want the hardback product with dashes and the price at the end. I also want the paperback product with dashes and the price at the end. If you notice that I'm changing the filter here, but just know that it's not wiping out the selections you've made. So I'm not checking one of these boxes and then pressing save, then doing another filter and checking it. I'm using the filter, teeing up my whole range of things that I'm checking, and then I'll press save at the end. These are things that you only get into these little patterns, don't you, when you do something a zillion times a day, and you want the quick way through it. So what have I got so far? I've got the title, the subtitle, a couple of bits of ISBN stuff. I could put on the pub date, or I could put on another new one, tight product summary, without a day, without an ISBN, and without a price. So there's another one, there's another tight product summary. It has the ISBN, it has the dimensions, it has the extent, it has the day number of the month in the pub date, and it has the price on the end. But we've added in a new one here, which is making that even tighter, and there's one option for millimetres and one option for inches. So that's all great. So now I am going to press save, and when the page refreshes, because this has to go away and build an entire set of PDF pages, so it's not going to be absolutely immediate. And we do have a bit of work in actually at the moment to have a little loading icon here, so it'll look a bit more like, oh yes, something's happening behind the scenes. So there's our data that's now arrived. Product title, ISBN 13 for the hardback. If there's no data for the data element that you chose, we're not printing it on the page. That was a feature that we shipped fairly recently, based on feedback from our treasured clients who came along to the last marketing materials training day. And then we have the product summary there. Now, I know what you're thinking. Maybe I don't. You may be thinking, yeah, I don't want all this clutter though. I don't need to say that. I'm going to get rid of that in a moment. I'm going to do the next bit though. I'm going to do the bottom of the page. Scrolling down to bottom of the page. Let's do the same thing, add elements. So what are we going to have? Let's have key selling points, external text. I want to have the blurb, lovely. And here's my next useful thing that's been shipped this week, table of contents. It will be table of contents. And it's called table of contents plain text without line breaks. So what this is it takes the information that you've put into as a marketing text on the metadata page, tagged up as table of contents. It strips out all of the HTML tags, and then it finds all of the new lines and replaces them with spaces. So if you've gone to the bother of doing this exquisite OLLI, ULLI, proper HTML markup, it throws it all away, and then it squishes it all up so that it's one unbroken paragraph, which is completely fine if that's what you want. If you actually want to make the most of your beautiful layout, then choose another option, which is table of contents. But again, the business objective here is, can we get as much as possible onto one page? So let's press save on that. That saved our 3 blurb, sales point, table of contents. That's going to load over here. Have another drink. And then we'll start making it look beautiful as well as presenting the correct data on the page. And I will just let it load because I just want you to see what it looks like. So there's our top bit, here's our blurb, here's our sales points. And this product, this work does not have a table of contents, so that's empty there. But one of these will, so if I scroll down and I see one of the pages, there we go. So here's Cats Ahoy. It's got a blurb, it's got some HTML sales points, and then here is the table of contents all smooshed up so that it's a big block like that. And you'll notice, you see, the benefit of this template is that there's no column for the cover. So you don't have to put some of the data into one column, some of the data into the other column, and then balance that sort of tension of, is it going to overflow? You're getting to use all of the width of the page if that's your objective. So that's great. But this is, where did that bit go? I want to show you what happens when data doesn't fit on the page. There we go. So on Cats Ahoy here, you can see that there's a plus sign. And that means that some data that you have said I want to appear in the top of the page, it can't fit. And we can't change the laws of physics. If it doesn't fit, it doesn't fit. When you're doing layout like this, what are your options? You either flow it into the next box. Well, we don't want to because we need to get everything onto one page and we're going for consistency on this layout. So what we've done is add a plus box here, and that jumps us to the bottom of the page, tells us what the problem is, we can either resolve that by changing the data or changing the template. So that's what will happen on this layout when, on this template, when data doesn't fit. It won't flow onto the next box, it will get chopped off, and there will be a visual indication as to what to do about it. But no wonder it doesn't fit, because the styling of the data elements on this page is, well, I'm going to say it's unimaginative at the very least. So let's now spend a few minutes styling this up to aid both fitting on the page and also beauty, because, you know, aesthetics is an important aspect of publishing. So first thing I'll do, I think I will add a header, because that always gives it a nice hat, doesn't it? So we can add a banner for the top of the page, we can add a footer image for the bottom of the page. Both are optional. I've got one that I've done earlier, as they say. I think it's called header. Might be called .jpeg. No, might be called .png. No, might just be called header. Is that a green header? Yeah, that's, oh no, wrong. Choose banner. Is it called header? Or is it called banner? Oh. Header PNG? It's in my, no, I don't think that is. Oh, sorry. Banner? Okay, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to very quickly just, it's this sort of thing. It's like a bit of artwork like that. I'm going to screenshot the top of my page. I'm going to go to desktop. And I'm going to wait for that thing to appear. Come on, there we go. And this is how we do artwork. Lovely. That's going to be a bit meta, isn't it? Being able to see the header of the website that we're on just appearing on the PDFs. Very exciting. This is a bit of a cheap trick to avoid me having to open up Photoshop, of course, or navigate my own farm system on my computer with bad naming conventions. So now we're going to have a look at some of the styling of this. There we go, lovely. So we don't want to have it say product title. We just want it to say the title. So let's click edit and see what we can do about that. So all of the data elements on the page are going to have this option here. Let me do that again slowly so that you can keep up. We're on this page, product title. See where it says edit? I'm clicking on edit, and that reveals these fields in the page. And I've got lots of options. I can have vertical space before, and so that will increase the amount of space before this element appears on the page. Then I've got two fields for the styling of the header and the text of the header. I don't have to have values in the heading text. I can blank it out. And then, you know, sure enough, it says underneath, leave blank and save to omit the heading entirely. And that's what I'll do. I don't need to get rid of the heading style because there is now nothing to be styled. So let's scroll down the page. Next two options, content style and display inline. Or display inline on separate lines or as table cells. So this is now going to be of use to me. And the default style that I've got selected, I can just see it here. You know, it's 10 point, it's this sort of grey colour, there's the hex value. It's in the Noto Sans font. It's left aligned, it's got no leading, it's got no special character spacing, and it's got no fancy transforming going on. So because this is the title, let's make that a bit bigger. So I click on this drop down list, and these are all the options I have for different stylings at the moment. And these are all defined by me, the user, and you, the user. So these are all different for everybody's different accounts. And I'll show you how to add one of these in a moment. So the heading, 16 points, sounds just right for a heading. I've selected that, and when I save this, that's going to appear in the preview over there. But while I'm here, I do want to put this onto inline, because this often makes sure that the next line is going to be nice and tight, and I'm going to be in control of the of all of the spacing there. I don't need to alter any of these things because I'm not adding free text after content. But if I did want to, then this is where I type that. This is great for things like if the data element I'm choosing is the page extent, which comes back as the number 256. I kind of don't want that just sort of floating on the page being weird. I want it to say PP afterwards, or no space in PP, or a space and pages. So it says 256 pages, and then that's human readable. So these options will allow you to set up anything after the data that you've got from the database, and style it accordingly. Right, so that's great. I'm going to press save on that, and then we're going to have a look to see how that renders on the page. So remember, it's going to have no heading kind of thing. It's not going to say, here's a product title. We're just going to leave that as an exercise to the viewer of the PDF. And then it's going to be styled with our 16-point font. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to look at it and I'm going to think, is 16 points the right sort of size for me? Is that the vibe I'm going for on this PDF? Do I feel like that's the right sort of level of projection? And yeah, I think that's just great. Did you see on the drop down list there was like a 33-point font? I mean, that would have been quite bold in your face, wouldn't it? So we're not going to do that. But let's just whilst we're thinking about those styles, let's open up the styling page to see what other styles there are and how we add one of our own. Number of different ways to get to that page. I can click on Manage Text Styles on this page. I'm going to open in a new tab so we don't get lost. The other way I can get to this page is to go to Settings, which is on the Account menu, and there's a link to this page there as well. So the heading that the style that I chose was this Seurat. Oh no, it wasn't. Where's 16? Heading. There we go. 16 point. That's the preview of the heading that I can look at here. That looks pretty much like the heading that we got there. So happy days. You know, I could have chosen that one. That jumbo 34-point bold heading. In fact, why not? Why don't we just do that and see? So, you know, because this is the general idea here, isn't it? That you can do something, have a look, see if it's sort of working just aesthetically for you, and then go back and forth. There it is, 34. Oh no, central. Was that it? Yes, central line pop-ins. Good. So let's let that render, and then rapidly change our minds because it's going to look terrible. But you know, this is the point. You can flip back and forth, trying new things out, trying the colours of things, trying some alignments, see what works for you. I should have chosen a set of data with fewer images to try and render because you're having to wait. I mean, it doesn't look terrible, does it? Actually, it does not look terrible. I don't like the centre line. That's going to irritate. But that's, you know, this is the design process, isn't it? We'll leave it. In fact, let's scroll down and see if that's how that's looking for all of them. So there's Cats of the World, there's Cats in Space. Yeah, not bad. All right. Right, we're going to rattle through the rest of these and do exactly the same sort of thing. So there is no subtitle on this first one, but when there is, I don't want it to say subtitle, and I do want it to be in line. Save that. Right, next one down. ISBN 13 for hardback product with dashes plus price. I definitely don't want it to say that at the top. Get rid of that. And I want it to be in line. So save that one. And then the next one down is ISBN 13 for paperback product with prices. I don't want it to say the heading. I want it to be in line, and I save that one. And then what's the last one on this list? The type product summary. I'm going to not have the label on the page that says type product summary. I'm just going to have it in line, and then we're going to let the poor old PDF render and see what that looks like. So we've gone through those remaining elements in the top part of the page, and we've taken off the heading of each of the data elements. We've rendered them all to appear in line rather than on separate lines with each other, and then we're going to see what that looks like. I haven't chosen any different font sizes, I haven't chosen any bolding or anything, but you know, that's looking pretty nice there. Now the first thing that jumps out there is that we've got an ISBN, we've got the price, but we don't know what format that's for. So how are we going to solve that for our poor PDF viewers? So let's have a look. It's this one, it's this ISBN 13 for hardback product with dashes. Well, this is great because all I need to do is decide what to put in as my heading text. I'm going to go, heading text is HB. You know, I might style that with something a little bit nice. Upcase, 10 point. Yeah, it's going to be, well, I want it to be actually quite pretty. Something nice. 9 point, and that's different colour. Yeah. So now let's save that and see what that does for us. I'm going to do the same actually for the paperback, because we've got this paperback option here. So I'm going to go paperback. So now you see we're in control of the labels that are going to appear on the PDF. We're not restricted to the name of the sort of data element that comes up, which is quite verbose, so that you have a chance of understanding what it might be saying to you. So there, you see that little HB. It's elegant. Going to have to stop that title being right centre aligned, aren't we? It's going to get old very quickly. But now we've added HB, we've added PB. I've annoyingly put a colon in one of them and none in the other, but let's motor on, errors notwithstanding. So now we have sorted out the top part of our PDF. It's looking good. We've got some lovely data appearing. Here's our one where there's the hardback and the paperback appearing. So we've got the different options there. Looking good. So same sort of thing really for the bottom of the page. One thing that jumps out here, doesn't it, is that normally you would have sales points above blurb. So let's sort that out by dragging and dropping sales points to above the blurb. So do you see there's a little grab handle here? So the order that it appears in on this template is the order that it's going to appear in on the PDF. So I click and I drag and I drop it there. And now next time that renders, it's going to be sales points at the top. But let's motor on, because we don't need it to say sales points external. How weird that would be. No, we want it to say key selling points. Key selling points. Points. Spelling. And we'll use that nice subheading thing, I think. That small bold content. We want that to be inline. And we will have a little bit of space actually between the blue line and the start of this. So I'm going to drag my vertical space, make that just right. If only there was a book called Cats of the World, I think these sales materials would be doing a fine job of selling it. Next one, we're not gonna say blurb. We're going to say about this book, and we're going to use the subheading. No, that's too big. The 9-point subheading. We are going to have that on separate lines because we want the heading to be slightly above the text there. Let's press save on that one. And then table of contents. We definitely don't want to say table of contents, plain text without line breaks. Inappropriate in the selling environment. We'll just edit that to say table of contents, and we'll do a nice subheading there. It's going to be on separate, yeah, do it on separate lines, and that's great. Right, fiddling done with. I could do a piece of artwork for the footer, or I can leave it to have the imprint logo and some words of my choice on this template, and the words of the choice are edited right here, so that's fine. I can change the colours of the borders and the bullet points if I want. I can add pagination actually on this. I didn't tell you, but you know that this is appearing as a long PDF. Oh, that's ugly. You can have pagination at any of the corners, and it can either just be the page or it can be pagination with some info as well. So yeah, have a play with that. I'm annoyed with myself that I've put a heading there that's just horrible and ugly. This is beautiful. That works. This does not work for me. Might have to go in and change that. But look how, you know, we've got a completely plausible advanced information sheet come out. And if we look at Cats Ahoy, that's where our table of contents is as well. And it's all squished up. If we were to click through to Cats Ahoy, you'd see that that's actually, you know, marked up in the proper style. We've got some HTML being rendered nicely on the PDF there. There's a bold, there's an italic. The bullet point colours here are under your control. And that is all done from scratch. So that's how long it takes. And you don't have to narrate and, you know, slurp coffee whilst you're doing it. So we have done a fair amount of our agenda actually, because we have covered reach, but I did sort of bang this in for expertise as well, because now you are expert in the functioning of that wonderful piece of functionality. Now we're going to cover depth and speed. We're going to take that template that we've done and we're going to use it to produce a great big load of AIs. And we're going to do that for groups as well. Now I'll show you what I mean rather than explaining that now. So the page that we've been on, this is the page where you're running the template. And I know that we've been looking at the results of that rendered out over here. But this really is just a kind of a scratch pad. The powerful bit of this is now using this template over in Data Studio. And we've put in a big link here, download full batch. You can also go to your new Data Studio button and it'll take you to the same place, kind of. So let's do both of those things now. I'm going to click on Data Studio at the top. This template we've been doing is called Live Demo of New Template. And your templates will appear in this block on your new Data Studio page. If you click on this link, as it says, it will take you to a search where you can download next month's PDFs. So we're going to be creating a new search. It's going to default to be the page, the option where marketing templates are used to generate a PDF. And we're going to default you to next month's products that are being published. You are not obliged to stick with that. We'll click on it and then we can see what our options are. If this is the first time you're seeing this page on your own account, then have another look around. There's lots of exciting options. Here's our library of examples we've been talking about. Here are our spreadsheet custom report templates. Here is our new option to see the unsaved searches that you've been creating. Until now you've had to save a search to be able to visit it again, but here are the unsaved searches. And we've got, you know, quick start ways to generate a new search there, as well as going to the new search page. So have a great time looking at all of that. Oh, a little duplicate button there as well. But I'm going to click on Live Demo of New Template because that's what we've been working on this morning. Click. And that creates a new unsaved search. You can see it says unsaved search. It's automatically set us to the outcome here for downloading marketing material PDFs. I can absolutely change to one of my more familiar, or, you know, there's the to-dos one that we were looking at earlier. There's the Lightning Source sidecar list that we've been trumpeting the last few live streams. So yeah, so switch around as you like, but here we are. We're focused on getting these options out. And it's as advertised. It's created these filters that say I want to see products where the publication date is next month. and it's found 4 products. Fine. And it's defaulted me to our new template. There's all of these other templates in here as well, but you know, we click to get this one, and this is the one we've got. So I can click now to create product level PDFs for 4 products, and that's going to work just fine. And I've got some sorting options. So here are some sorting options, and this will determine the order that the products appear in the PDF. So super helpful if you're creating some kind of catalogue that's meant to flow, or some sort of sales presentation that's meant to start with, well, you know, start with marketing tier of A. Very good, have those at the front, and then the pub date. So yeah, so there are some sorting options there. And then there are also grouping options. So if you want to have one entry on your multi-page PDF, and each entry acts at the work level, then you can use these options to say, okay, start with the default product being EPUB, and then we're going to group all of the sibling products underneath that lead product. If you don't want that, if you want there to actually be one entry for the EPUB, one entry for the audio download, and one entry for the paperback, leave this blank. So it just depends on what outcome you're hoping for. So, you know, I'm going to set this off because that's a completely interesting and viable approach. But there are so many different other ways that we could approach this. And by the way, now I'm going to be waiting for my bell. Did you see? It's just dinged up. It's generated those marketing materials. Let's just download that and have a look, see what it's got. So it'll put it in a zip file, even though it's just one PDF. To open it with PDF preview explicitly, otherwise Adobe Acrobat will hoik it out of my control. And so here we are, we're seeing Cats Ahoy, because that's the only product that's found that's being published in the next month. We've got the elements that we put on, and we've also got audio EPUB and the audio download appearing there, because we said make this a grouped one. So all of the sibling information is going to appear there. Lovely. So that's what happens then. But let's try some other approaches to this. I'm going to delete the search, the filter that says I'm only interested in next month, and I'm going to get our cats one. So the batch, products in batch, include any of, and it was covers, wasn't it? Cats with covers. Great. And the reason I'm doing this is because it reveals for you another sorting option. So same thing so far, but if you have done a search and you've whittled it down by batch, then one of your sort options can be the order of the batch. So I won't go there because I've only got 6 minutes left. But if you're familiar with using batches, you'll probably be, you know, making sure that the order in them is correct. And there's buttons there to say sort alphabetically, sort by pub date, and drag and drop as well. So that can be a really handy option there to set up the order that you want your catalogue entries to be in, and then search will obey that for you. And then again, you know, you can choose to group, or you can choose not to group. I'll leave that not grouped for now, and then you can see that when we create our 11 products, there's going to be create our PDF for 11 products, there are going to be 11 entries, because there's going to be one entry in the PDF per product, not per work. So this will take very slightly longer because there's 11 things to go and get, but we're waiting for the bell to go yellow up here. And when that happens, we can download it and have a look-see. Let me just check if there's anything else that I need to cover for you on the agenda today. Running our template for groups, we've done that. Great. All looking good. Let's see if this is going to appear. You can have a little sneaky look behind the scenes to see how it's going. You don't normally get to see this because why would you? But the code is going away and getting all of the information from our store there, getting the cover images, getting the imprint logos, placing them all on a PDF, then doing some pagination. Finally, we get to see the output. And so now this is our 11 entry option. So maybe we got a book. So there's Cats Ahoy there and another Cats Ahoy. And there's Atherton Raspberry looking for all the world like a proper baddie. And then there's also another Atherton Raspberry down here I saw. So depending on what you want, there are options available. And now look how much space we've got to get lots of information all onto this PDF. Hopefully do a better job than me of putting some beautiful banner artwork up there, not just screenshotting the navbar of consonants. But yeah, so that's what we've done today. We have done from scratch a look through at our new template, and we've looked at some new data elements, and we've looked at the lovely KanBan prototype coming along. We've looked at our team's amazing, super fast iteration on the work to do page. So it's all there. And now it's Easter, isn't it? So we're going to be going into the Easter weekend. I really hope that you get to have a nice break, because the London Book Fair and then some other fairs like ALPSP, the Redox Conference, it's all been very busy time, hasn't it? So I really hope you get a bit of a break. Personally, I shall be catching up with my Open University course. I've got an exam coming up. Can you believe it? An exam at the end of May. So the live streams will get more and more wild-eyed as we approach that time. Oh, maths and science and constrained timescales. Oh, it's been a while, but it'll be all right. Great. And so keep the feedback coming, because look what we can do with it. Great things. So thanks again. Have a great break. It's business as usual next week. Easter is the long weekend, but we'll be back here on Thursday as usual. Right, so off to the dentist with me and my son. Thank you for joining me. Sorry it was a bit early today, but have a great weekend, long weekend. See you on the other side. Bye.